Could this be the end of Blake Lively's seemingly unstoppable rise in Hollywood? In a turn of events that blindsided fans and insiders alike, the beloved actress is entangled in a legal tempest with director Justin Baldoni. Lawsuits, allegations of sabotage, and claims of a toxic work environment have all converged around the highly anticipated film adaptation of It Ends With Us. At first glance, it seemed like just another star-studded production, until the bombshells began dropping. Now, the stakes have never been higher. But what really went down behind the scenes of It Ends With Us? And how did Blake Lively's involvement in this blockbuster project spiral into an all-out war? By the end of this story, you may question everything you thought you knew about Hollywood's golden couple, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and the so-called underdog director fighting for his reputation. It Ends With Us started off as the dream adaptation for Colleen Hoover fans. The novel's haunting portrayal of a young woman trapped in a tumultuous relationship was loved for its raw depiction of heartbreak and resilience. When rumors spread that Blake Lively would bring main character Lily Bloom to life, excitement soared. Her impeccable track record and glowing celebrity status felt like a perfect match for such a popular story. Then came the first stirrings of controversy. While fans expected a gritty, emotionally charged marketing campaign to reflect the novel's gravity, Lively stunned everyone by rolling out bright floral dresses, playful hair care tie-ins, and breezy social media posts. Critics labeled the approach tone-deaf, accusing her of trivializing the novel's dark themes. Instead of pulling back, Lively doubled down, promoting her alcohol brand and designer partnerships as if this were a quirky rom-com rather than a harrowing domestic drama. And just like that, trouble came knocking. It wasn't just fans feeling uneasy. Whispers circulated that Lively was making more than marketing missteps. She was taking liberties on set that went far beyond the usual star power. According to some in the production, she had begun to eclipse the original creative team. Rumor had it she was rewriting scenes, taking over costume design, and vetoing entire sections of the original script. Gossip sites buzzed, but the real conflict was yet to erupt. Behind the scenes, a legal thunderstorm was quietly building. Out of nowhere, news broke that Blake Lively had filed a massive lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and his company, Wayfarer Studios. She cited an alleged toxic environment, claiming she faced misconduct and incessant pressure while filming. Even more shocking, she contended that Baldoni orchestrated a smear campaign, tarnishing her public image by funneling rumors to the press. Baldoni's response was swift and fierce. He and Wayfarer Studios shot back with a countersuit, alleging that Lively was the one orchestrating a takedown. Their claim? She had repeatedly used false allegations and manipulated the narrative to seize total control over the film. And the fight wasn't just about It Ends With Us. They insisted she aimed to lock down the rights for the sequel, It Starts With Us, effectively muscling Baldoni and his team out of the entire franchise. Fans were left reeling. How did a movie adaptation of a beloved novel devolve into a legal free-for-all? YouTube channels, gossip columns, and even mainstream outlets pounced on the story. The swirling headlines ranged from Blake Lively's meltdown to Justin Baldoni's downfall. One thing was certain: the stakes involved tens, if not hundreds, of millions of dollars, and no one seemed ready to back down. Soon, details of Lively's alleged behind-the-scenes power moves started surfacing. She had been cast as an actress and given an executive producer credit, often a courtesy title for high-profile talent. But if you listen to the whispers from set, she wasn't just making suggestions. She was taking over. Wardrobe budgets allegedly skyrocketed when she scrapped existing costumes and brought in her personal stylist. Script rewrites came at her insistence, altering the film's tone. Even the editor was replaced with someone she had previously worked with on a music video, someone with almost no feature film experience. But the biggest bombshell involved a rough cut of the film. According to Baldoni's team, Lively took an early version, way before final approvals, and jetted off to a Colleen Hoover fan event. Major studios have strict protocols about unreleased content, but Lively apparently brushed them aside. If any attendee had recorded or leaked that footage, the project could have been catastrophically exposed to piracy or negative press before official marketing even began. Instead of It Ends With Us being a carefully rolled-out release, it became a ticking time bomb, set off by Lively's drive to show fans her vision. Critics argue that this was a prime example of her overshadowing Baldoni. He had been the one championing the project from day one, but by the time the press tour arrived, it seemed as though Lively was pulling every string. She even managed to sideline Baldoni from key promotional events, according to some insiders, and had his name removed or minimized on early marketing materials. Was this all part of a sly takeover? Or was Lively just being an overzealous star who genuinely wanted to give fans her best work? That question soon got buried under an avalanche of lawsuits. If it had stayed a he said, she said situation, public intrigue might have died down. But Baldoni's attorney, Brian Fredman, unleashed a wave of documents, text messages, emails, and interviews meant to dismantle Lively's assertions. According to those records, Lively's claims of ongoing misconduct were inconsistent. At one point, she admitted that if any misconduct had occurred, it had ended before filming resumed in 2024. Yet in her lawsuit, she painted a picture of an ongoing nightmare. Fredman's team also released internal messages where Lively allegedly demanded public apologies from Baldoni to quell the online backlash she'd ignited through her own promotional gaffes. As these revelations came out, Lively and her lawyers sought a gag order to prevent Fredman from discussing the case publicly. They argued that his statements were fueling a one-sided media attack and sabotaging her reputation. However, federal judges rarely muzzle attorneys outright, especially when public interest is this high. In a fierce back and forth, Fredman insisted he was only responding to Lively's own leaks to media outlets, such as the New York Times. That controversial article, published the previous December, had practically painted Baldoni as a pariah overnight, costing him his agent, upcoming film deals, and even a podcast partnership. By this point, public opinion was in chaos. Some wholeheartedly believed Lively, citing the long history of women in Hollywood who endure toxic sets. Others rallied to Baldoni's side, pointing to the suspicious sequence of events and Lively's own contradictory public statements. The evidence was piling up fast, and each new piece seemed more incriminating than the last, depending on which side you believed. When the parties finally faced each other in federal court, tensions boiled over. Lively's team pushed relentlessly for that gag order, calling Fredman's revelations a smear campaign that was destroying her career. But the judge denied the request. In a scathing statement, the court reminded everyone involved that free access to public records is paramount and that both sides had contributed to the media frenzy. If Lively was releasing information to the press, she couldn't then muzzle the other side's defense. Meanwhile, Baldoni's camp demanded to depose Lively, requesting she answer detailed questions under oath. Lively tried to dodge, arguing that Fredman had openly attacked her integrity and she felt threatened. The judge wasn't swayed. In the eyes of the court, a star defendant can't simply veto opposing counsel because they don't like the questions. Lively's legal maneuvering met a wall. If she wants her day in court, she'll have to face Baldoni's lawyers head-on. All of this legal wrangling had one major consequence: talk of fast-tracking the trial. The judge made it clear that if hostilities continued to escalate, a new trial date could be set earlier than the original March 2026 schedule. This raised the stakes significantly for both sides. Legal experts speculate that an expedited trial might work against Lively if more unflattering evidence is forced into the spotlight sooner. So, what does this mean for Blake Lively's future? Until recently, she seemed unstoppable. From a cherished teen drama star to a bankable lead in big-budget films, Lively also built a lifestyle empire with brand partnerships, curated social media, and her own beverage line. That empire might be teetering. Already, critics question whether major studios will trust her as the face of high-stakes projects when she's embroiled in scandal. Some fans remain loyal, but the swirl of negative press could chip away at her wholesome image, and it's uncertain how many brand deals can withstand this level of controversy. Justin Baldoni's losses have been even more visible. Once lauded for his heartfelt approach to storytelling and positive media presence, Baldoni saw his agent drop him. Multiple development deals vanished. Sponsors and collaborators steered clear, fearing the stigma of hooking up with a toxic producer. For Baldoni, rebuilding his reputation and reviving stalled projects will be an uphill battle. Ryan Reynolds hasn't remained untouched either. As Lively's husband and frequent business partner, his name naturally gets dragged into the headlines. Some insiders whisper that the couple's combined star power was used as leverage against Baldoni, a claim that remains unproven but certainly makes for compelling speculation. Will Reynolds face indirect backlash in the form of tarnished brand deals or lost roles? Hollywood is fickle, and guilt by association can be a career killer. There's a deeper narrative here that extends beyond the individuals involved. Some see Lively's alleged takeover as a cautionary tale about A-listers imposing their will on creative teams, overshadowing directors, and rewriting entire movies. Others see it as one more example of Hollywood's male-driven system dismissing legitimate claims by a female lead. On social media, hashtags championing each side have popped up, creating a fervent echo chamber of half-truths and unverified leaks. That said, the reams of evidence from Baldoni's attorney have pushed many fence-sitters to question Lively's allegations. The combination of contradictory statements, behind-the-scenes power struggles, and talk of her rewriting scripts might speak to a bigger problem. Sometimes, the fight for creative control can spiral into personal vendettas. For Hollywood insiders, it's a stark reminder of how quickly alliances can crumble when hundreds of millions of dollars and A-list reputations are on the line. And let's not forget Colleen Hoover in all this. The author, revered by her fanbase, might be feeling the fallout too. Fans who once clamored for the big screen adaptation are now stuck watching ugly lawsuits and smear campaigns, instead of celebrating the film's release. The sequel, It Starts With Us, hangs in limbo with warring parties both claiming rights and creative authority. If no settlement is reached, the entire project could be doomed before it even begins filming. At this stage, it's unclear who will come out on top, or if either side will emerge unscathed. Settlement talks haven't publicly surfaced, which could mean everyone is prepared to battle it out in front of a jury. If the trial date moves forward, we may get a closer look at the evidence each side has been sitting on. Unreleased messages, behind-the-scenes footage, or damning depositions could flip the narrative yet again. For Blake Lively, regaining public trust will require carefully navigating her brand image while grappling with the harsh spotlight of a federal lawsuit. For Justin Baldoni, any chance at career resurrection hinges on clearing his name and proving his claims that he was blindsided by Lively's alleged manipulation. And for fans, the wait for It Ends With Us is overshadowed by legal battles, accusations, and diminishing hope that the final movie will live up to the novel's impact. This saga also illustrates the broader power dynamic at play in Hollywood, a realm where money and fame can fuel unstoppable momentum or spark unstoppable conflict. The question is, will these lawsuits set a new precedent for how stars, studios, and directors negotiate creative control? Or will it all end in a behind-closed-doors deal that never fully reveals the truth? If you thought Hollywood was nothing but glitz and glamour, this convoluted legal saga might make you think twice. Here we have a beloved actress fighting tooth and nail against an up-and-coming director over a film adaptation meant to shine a light on domestic violence. Yet the headlines are now dominated by accusations of sabotage, smear campaigns, and career-ruining power moves. It's a stark reminder that even the biggest stars can stumble, and that the line between victim and villain isn't always clear. So, what's your take on the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni showdown? Is one side truly in the right, or are both fueling a fire that could burn down everything they've built? Share your thoughts below, and stay tuned, because if there's one thing everyone can agree on, it's that this story is far from over.